Hello everyone. Today I know I'm gonna kind of do a little bit early of a video, or maybe I won't post by then. But anywho, I just was really pretty excited about last night's episode of The Walking Dead. It was actually probably the best episode we've seen in last year's finale. I mean, this was a really fun episode to watch. It was just a killer episode right from the beginning. Um, you know, um, I think we got to see a lot of things that we've been wanting to see for quite a long time, like the Negan versus Rick thing. That fight made me think about a few things because now they can go a few ways. But we'll get into that later. So first off, they show those close-ups again. That was also a pet peeve that I did not like. Is those close-ups? We keep seeing them every time. I mean, next week's episode, there's already a spoiled uh, episode 13. There's already a spoiled opening scene with Morgan close-up, and it's like, why do we have to do these close-ups? But this was like, I mean, such a small thing. And that old lady that looked like Hillary Clinton was just Garbo. She sucked. I don't like her, especially if she's, the comic book storyline right now. If that happens, I'm serious. I'm not gonna watch the show anymore. Anyways, I find it pretty interesting that Rick, he's like season 5 Rick. He just takes Negan like out with the car, and then Simon, like you could tell Simon was gonna do something shady. But that fire scene with Lucille, and destroying the thing, and then them getting in a fight, that was a better fight than the comics ever had done for Rick versus Negan, because his bat was on fire. I don't know how. It's a piece of wood, but then I realized that there was zombie stuff on it, so maybe that's what was burning. But it's a bat, so I don't quite understand that. Where's his bat? He also, it seems weird that he got picked up by Jadis at the end real quick. That didn't make any sense. I mean, it was cool that we got to see Jadis again, because I was wondering if she's not gonna be, if her group is dead, what is her purpose in the show? But yeah, so after we saw that crazy epic fight with the hatchet, we see Rick just being season 5 Rick. I mean, there's actually this car chase scene which is epic, and then we see, it's kind of weird. They use the soundtrack to make it sound like there's a siren in it, like Rick was like a cop again, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I would not want to mess with Rick as a cop back then. I mean, if he really had that short of a fuse, it only took him 8 months to become season 2 Rick, or season 3, somewhere around there. But yeah, Rick was kind of on the edge his whole life. Anyways, there could be a lot of interesting things. And then that old lady shows up. Now, the old lady I didn't like at first, but then she introduced the windmill, which, if you've read the comics, the windmill is a very iconic part of the comics at this point now. It's like, especially since it's not destroyed, it's like one of the most significant features of the time skip. So the fact that this old lady, the record thing's weird. Like, they must have electricity if they can use records, or maybe they're just using it in another purpose. I don't think so. I think it's Commonwealth, and I don't like that one bit, because now one question comes from this if you're a comic book reader, so you can skip on if you want to. But I don't care for the Commonwealth right now, because we know very little even in the comic books. And now that if this lady looks very similar to her, and if she is, that's gonna just be ridiculous. And if she does have a big community with electricity, it brings up the question: if are the Whispers ever gonna show up in the TV version? And if they do, then why were they not helping? Are the Whispers gonna be even bigger? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. And also, it seems to me that Eugene, now that he doesn't come up with the windmill, he doesn't come up with the Stephanie thing. If they're already introducing the Commonwealth, then Stephanie's not there, which means that Eugene's storyline's cut. Yo, he dead. And to be honest, I would absolutely love to see Eugene perish. He's a piece of trash. He's awful. He's a terrible character. I cannot understand a damn word he's saying. I mean, he's off. Him and Simon have to go. They're just the worst people in the apocalypse. I would, if I were them, I would just gut them. I mean, I seriously, if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would not want those two guys. They'd probably just kill you at any moment, just because they feel like it. But that's just my 2 cents there. But back to the episode, we see the Michonne scene with Enid, which is kind of like, we've seen that kind of thing with Carl a whole lot of the time, so we don't really need to see that anymore. I do like how she's like, Carl protected, this doctor. Now we have a doctor. Before we didn't have anything, which is going to really come in clutch later when they have those zombie weapons and they figure out, like, people are dying, and, he's going to figure that out. Does anyone think it's weird that the only two doctors, two of the only doctors in the entire series are also, or like both, like, minority people? I think it's kind of weird to me. Anyways, it looks like next week we're going to see everybody. Looks like we're going to see maybe the comic book scene where they show up at the thing and they have that first battle. I don't know if it's going to be the second battle, but I would really love for it to be that first battle. But if they do, where's episode 14, 15, and 16? There's 3 more after that, which makes it, I'm guessing that the episode 14 will be probably just an episode about, Negan and Jadis. Episode 15 could be, Negan getting back and, them kind of, Rick, that kind of thing, trying to, have one last battle. And then that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to stretch it out, and I'm okay with that if it's good stuff. I mean, this last episode was so freaking good. I mean, that Negan Rick fight was just one of the best fights I've seen so far. And then let's see, and then they kind of let the windmill people go, and so that was pretty cool how they actually had to document it. But at the same time, it also makes the survivors look like idiots because they can't come up with their own things. It's like, before, it seemed like it wasn't just Eugene in the comics that came up with the windmill too. It was like several other people. It was like Eugene and other people. And now it just seems like, oh, we have to have these old people to like figure out stuff like that. But I mean, I love this episode. It's interesting what Jadis will do with Negan. I mean, I wonder if he could either get away and then find out the Savior's trying to kill everybody, kill Simon, which needs to happen. And then he leads the last attack, or Negan is traded to Rick for something, and they keep him as a prisoner, locked up or something, and he doesn't get away, but instead of that famous comic book scene with Rick and Negan, there's with Rick and Simon, and Rick says, "Nah, Simon's got to go. He's dead," and they don't revive him. They don't try to save him. And Negan's kind of befriended there, but he doesn't do anything. He's just kind of as a prisoner. I wouldn't like that as much, but since we've already seen Rick versus Negan, I could see that happening. It'll be interesting, season 9, especially at the Whispers, now that things aren't set up as much. Now that Carl's not there and stuff. So that whole thing, they're going to have to change a lot. Some people are saying that they might use some of Volume 22 and before the season finale. And I mean, I could see that. But, I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too early. But what'd you guys think? Did you guys think this was a good episode? I know this is kind of an extra long review, but man, was I pumped. It was a fantastic episode. It'll be really interesting seeing the next couple episodes. I would love to see Morgan. Hopefully they don't kill Morgan off just yet. I just want him around for just like one more season, because he's only been around for if you went by full episodes, he's probably only been around for maybe 3 seasons, maybe. That's not very long for a really epic character, so just don't kill him off just yet. Whatever you do, AMC, and don't use the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth are not something. This old lady should be her own group, and a small group, so that the Whisper thing, or whatever new threat out there, I'm not trying to do too much spoilers, but whatever new threat is out there, should be small enough that this group doesn't, not participate, so it complicates things. But, yeah. Season 5 Rick is back for good. Deuces.